keeping control of your price and information. Hello, Jake Huling here with Aircraft Sales Advisor. I'd like to welcome you to the 4th video report in a new series called 9 Steps to Successful Sale or Purchase of Your Plane. In the last report, we discussed bringing a plane to market and the different types of buyers and sellers, why different asking prices require different buyers, and different strategies in order to reach those buyers. We also looked at the different categories that a buyer falls into and why it's important, if you are a buyer, to know what type of buyer you are. We also looked at how much the differences can be between a wholesale and a retail price, using, for an example, a 2007 King Air B200. And we discovered how to go about the search for your next plane, commission rates, what they should and should not be, and I showed you how to save money when you are both selling a plane and buying your next one. In this report, we're going to cover selling a plane on your own, the pros and cons of this approach, the importance of keeping control of your information, and how to handle brokers when they contact you about your plane. Selling a plane on your own. Let's start out by agreeing that we're going to take a look at this one objectively, because generally people are very polarized with their opinions on this topic. Brokers, for example, will usually tell you it's a bad idea and you should never buy or sell a plane on your own, and owners tend to be split on their opinions. Some have had bad experiences with a broker or brokers, and others go this route because they believe it will save them money. Other owners would say you should always use a broker, a good one, because of the time investment needed when selling a plane or searching for your next one. And there are those who also don't know and don't care to know about all the technical details needed to sell or purchase a jet or turboprop aircraft. So where do I stand on this? Well, that depends on you as an individual or a corporation and on your particular set of circumstances. There are times when the right broker can save you money, help you get the right plane, or get your plane sold for a higher price. And I also believe there are times when you as an owner or corporation, you don't need a broker. So the pros and cons of selling a plane on your own. One example of when you wouldn't need a broker is if your plane was simply changing from one of your companies to another of your companies. Another example could be if you were selling or buying a plane off market to someone you knew or did business with on a regular basis. Now, that approach can work as long as both sides are very comfortable with the plane or planes involved, and each party is experienced with this process, and they have also each owned or operated a similar type of aircraft before. But here's the thing, this scenario can also have real problems, real big problems. If the plane showed up and is needed something unexpected and very expensive for maintenance, or one side finds out they paid too much or got too little for their plane. Another danger is when one of the sides has never owned a similar jet or turboprop and is unfamiliar with the capabilities and costs associated with their new plane. So be careful with this scenario. It can work, but you need to exercise caution. If there's any doubt, it might be worth hiring someone who can, for a fixed fee, look things over, answer any questions you may have, and protect you while walking you through this process. And that can also protect your business relationship, something else to think about. Next, let's cover some things you may not know. If you're going to sell your plane on your own and you plan to put your plane out there on the market, there are some things to be aware of. I've had owners tell me they don't want to go with just one broker because wouldn't it be better to not tie their hands and to have many brokers working for them to try to sell their plane instead of just one? Or I really don't want to use a broker because I don't want to have to pay a commission. I want to save money. These are actually really good questions and they deserve to be answered. The first thing you need to know is that there is almost always, and I mean 99% of the time, a commission paid whether you've hired a broker or not. It may not be an amount that you're aware of, or by the time you find out it's after the sale and too late, but there's almost always one there. And the question you need to ask is whether that commission is being paid to someone working for you, working for someone else, or working for themselves. Remember, in the first video report we talked about in the series, when brokers get in between you and the buyer or seller, and how that can look like. They're the ones either selling a plane or buying yours, but it's actually just changing hands with a markup that's usually a lot more than you would have paid in a commission. So you can end up paying a commission without knowing it and without getting any of the benefits of having a good broker working for you. I emphasize good broker. Now, if you are experienced in these areas, you may be just fine. But if you are unsure or uncomfortable, it might be better to know what the commission is by having a broker work for you. Because if they are working for you, you not only know about the commission, but you also have a say in how much the commission is. That's important. Either way you choose to go, this is still something you should be aware of and know about and be careful with because it can cost you a lot of money. Information to control or not to control. The second thing you should know is what happens when information is not controlled. What do I mean by not controlled? Well, you have to follow me on this next part because it may sound like I'm trying to talk you out of selling a plane on your own. But these are things you will need to know, and they're things you're going to have to deal with if you choose to go this route. When information is released into the market without any control, a couple of things happen. Let's say you're selling a plane and brokers learn about your plane by calling you, and you give them the information about the sale price of your plane but no control, meaning it's not their listing and they see it as an unrepresented plane. They each know that any other broker could sell your plane at any time. So instead of a broker representing you with control and keeping the sale price of your plane up, each broker who has someone interested in your plane will offer it to that person with the lowest number they think that you may take. And often, it's actually a lot lower than what you would actually take. The reason they do this is because the first broker who brings you an accepted offer gets paid. So they aren't going to spend extra time negotiating a higher price for you because, one, they don't benefit from it, and two, nobody gets paid for second place in this scenario. And they also don't get paid for spending extra time helping you get a higher price, so you have to be careful of that. Something else that can happen with uncontrolled information is the scaring away of potential buyers. Well, how does that happen? Well, you see, there are at any given time only a limited number of customers looking for your particular type and year of plane. If a buyer is contacting different brokers looking for a plane like yours, each of these brokers who know about your plane will show that buyer information on your plane. When the buyer starts to see the same plane presented to them several times from different brokers, often each time with a different asking price, the potential buyer can start to get a little nervous. They also wonder about the information being reliable and possible fighting between different brokers over commissions. And especially when there's a lot of other planes to choose from, they'll simply move on to the next one, and then you miss out on that sale. So how do you handle brokers when they call you? It's important to note that no matter what approach you choose, the key is to control your information on your plane that you are selling or the one you're looking to buy. When a broker contacts you, the best advice I can give you is that you need to act as your own broker. You need to be aware that they are looking for a commission. And if they're not getting paid by the buyer or seller, they're going to be looking at your end to get paid one way or another. The best thing you can do is to know your information, what the plane is worth you are selling or buying and why, what your asking price or your offer is and why, and that you understand they're going to want to get paid for bringing you a buyer or a plane. So find out if they're getting paid from someone. If not, talk to them about it. Talk to them about a commission. Let them know you understand how this works, how the process works, and you are willing to pay a fair commission, which also means you need to have that factored in and worked into your numbers. That's important. So what's next? Well, we just talked about the importance of knowing your numbers and the value of the plane you're selling or wanting to buy. So in the next video report, we're going to talk about one of the more confusing factors when determining a plane's value. And that is aftermarket upgrades. What the different costs involved are, the value it adds to a plane in both dollars and appeal, and which ones hold their value. So that's it for this report. Thank you so much for joining me on this fourth step in my newest series of reports called 9 Steps to a Successful Sale or Purchase of Your Plane. This is Jake Huling with Aircraft Sales Advisor, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.